Warning. We are not journalists. We are not players. We aren't even in a union. We simply love the Premier League and happen to live in America. We are not experts. We will say dumb shit. Thank you and welcome to Premerica.
We're the kids in Premerica, ooh. We're the kids in Premerica, ooh. We just live in a Premerican world.
Let's do the damn thing. Pumped,
Michael,
back on the bus.
Are you good?
Immediately, Michael is
I
typing
am.
something which scares us to goddamn death. He immediately goes down and looks away to type something.
Literally, it was from my realtor. There's tweaks they're making to
That's
our
not
contract. I can't wait
okay.
to get this, like-
That's not okay. That's not a good excuse.
Hello and welcome back to Premerica. I'm your host, Mike Weinberg, joined by my dear friends Sam Thomas and Michael Liberman. If you don't know us, Premerica is your virtual pub for all things Premier League right here in America. We talk a little shop, we talk a little shit, and we keep you up to date on all things happening in the best league in the world. So grab your friends. Let's talk Prem. Boys, it has been several weeks. 3-4 weeks since we have got together. It is so wonderful to see your faces. I didn't know what you would look like. You look the same. I funny enough, I don't look the same. Let's quickly address the chipmunk in the room, if we will. You like that, Michael? Yes.
Yeah.
For those of you who know me, love me, have met me, you may notice this is looking a little different. I did have a pretty significant jaw surgery a couple weeks ago, and I've been recovering, and that's why we haven't had an episode. But I'm finally recovered enough that we can make this happen, but I still got some swelling going on, so I got some big teeth, I got a little chipmunk thing going, but if you guys can live with it, I can live with it.
Interestingly enough, I didn't see any of that until you started calling attention to it. Now it's
Really?
all I can see.
Yeah, good.
But now it's
That's
all.
what I wanted.
Yeah, it's all I'm looking at now. I can't unsee it, but we're gonna have to move forward. So that's what we're gonna do.
I also think it's important to note really quickly that we did do the tried and true launch strategy of produce a really awesome first episode and then just immediately go dark for
abandoned for 3
weeks.
weeks.
Silence.
Yes.
Leave them wanting more. That's what we.
And all of you are here wanting more. You're all here wanting more, and we're going to give you a little more because we are back. We are back better than ever.
Baby.
We're breathing better than ever. Michael is stronger than ever. Look at him. He looks great. Missed you, buddy. So actually, before we jump into the episode, today is the first day of Champions League knockout round. So we just watched a few games. Unfortunately, Sam, I'm sorry, I had a rough start.
Pass.
Liverpool lost today, so I'll just quickly say that. And but on a brighter note, Tottenham got their asses beat, absolutely destroyed. I think it ended 5-2, if I'm not mistaken. And
yes,
Barcelona Newcastle drew. Last minute crazy penalty for Barcelona. Newcastle looked better. So I do have one question for you guys.
Incredible team, Barca.
it's a incredible team. It's a good team. It's they play the good, beautiful football the right way.
Thank you for that, Pep. The thing I would ask you guys, I have one quick opening question for you. As Premier League fans, as diehard Prem fans, are you rooting for all of the Prem teams because you want Premier League dominance, or are we still don't really like each other, so we're rooting against each other? What are your stances on that topic?
I think in this round, I'm cheering for Prem teams because, as it has been well established here in Premerica, we are a fan of Premier League dominance. So the more teams that can make it past this round, the better from my standpoint. Now, future rounds, it will totally change. But in this specific round, the more teams that move forward, the better.
Yeah, I completely disagree. Now that Liverpool lost today, I want both of you guys to lose tomorrow.
Would you have answered that differently 3 hours ago?
Yes.
Yeah.
I would have said, now that Liverpool's won, I still want both of you guys to lose tomorrow.
Fair enough. Honestly, but Liverpool has been the gift that keeps on giving as of late. So,
Okay. Well, we're going to get more into that in a little bit. Thankfully for you today, Sam, this is a Premerica show about the Premier League, so we can move off the
Yes.
Champions League, and let's jump
And
into
we
the
can
show.
talk
So,
about the defending Premier League champions, Liverpool. So
yes,
perfect.
we can, which we are going to.
Okay,
We're
fair
going to
enough.
do that.
Fair enough.
Yes, yes.
Fair enough.
So real
That's all
quick,
I've got. That's all that's left in the well. I'm going
That's all
deep into
it's
the
got.
well.
and thank you
The
guys
slot
for
boys are back at it.
thank you guys for joining Premerica, and we will see you next week. No, let's quickly run through what to expect in this episode. We've got look back at match week 29. We've got not so objective viewership on actually match week 28, Arsenal Chelsea. We have Professor Sam's topic of the week, which is the FA Cup, which will be a fun one. And of course, we end on everyone's favorite topic, stoppage time. To wrap it up, we feeling good? We ready to jump in, boys?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're feeling good. All right. Before we get into it, we're going to have a quick word from our sponsors, and then we will get into our first segment.
Do you fall into a deep hole of depression every time your team loses over the weekend? Oh no, I can't believe Chelsea dropped points again. From the makers of Premerica, we bring you Pint Alert for those times where you just can't get yourself up off the floor. A helpful member of the Pint Alert team will come to your aid and bring you a nice creamy pint to raise your spirits and get you back to level. So next time you're in that deep, dark hole depression, remember, Pint Alert's got you back. All right, y'all, let's get ready for Matchweek. The recap.
All right, and we are back with Look Back Match Week 29. This is where each of us picks one game to highlight from the previous week, but instead of breaking down the game itself, the tactics, the blah, 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 we take more of a 30,000-foot view and talk about why it matters in the greater premisphere, if you will. And today we are going to start with Michael, who has a very special edition of Spurs shitting the bed for us today. Spurs versus Palace. Michael, take it away.
This week on Spurs shitting the bed, I mean the recap. I'm going to be highlighting Tottenham versus Palace. This was an absolutely pivotal game for Tottenham's season, for their future, and frankly, it started off strong, and then immediately Tottenham got a red card, and it all completely capitulated and fell apart. And it just kind of has been a summary of the direction that they've been going. It feels like for several seasons now. And it feels kind of like they've essentially, this is a great example of a team that's sort of invested in the wrong things. They built arguably the best stadium in London or in England, and have invested in a ton of infrastructure to build themselves up as one of the top football clubs in the league. They just forgot that you got to win football games in order to get there. So they haven't really invested in the right players, in the right managers, in the right system. It feels like they've been cutting corners for years, and it's kind of all coming to a head this year. And I think that this Tottenham's Crystal Palace game is sort of the perfect example of that. Started off strong, took the lead early, and then, because of a red card from, the player that a lot of Spurs fans were saying was the best center back in the Premier League, Van de Ven, they completely fell apart, and it looks like that's what's happening to their entire season. So, as an Arsenal fan, I'm loving it. I'm eating it up, but it just kind of shows that, if you don't focus in the right areas, even the biggest clubs can fall apart.
Well, I think what was pretty funny about this one is they actually scored against the run of play to go up 1-0, and then they gave up the red card. And so they get the red card in the late 30s of the first half. So less than 10 minutes to go. And usually when this happens, the team will just kind of hunker down and just make it till halftime, and then try to make some changes and then try to hunker down the second half. Or at worst, they give up a goal to equalize and then hunker down in the second half. They gave up 3 fucking goals before the end of
12
the
minutes.
half.
Yeah.
They didn't lose 3-1. They gave up 3 goals before the half even ended.
Oh my God.
And to add on to that, in watching today in the Champions League game, they gave up 4 goals to Madrid in 22 minutes. So you're talking about a team that just cannot, is just they start to unravel and they fall apart.
It all falls apart.
It's a perfect microcosm for their season. I mean, they started okay. They were doing pretty well. And all of a sudden they just started to fall apart, and it got worse and worse and worse. And they've had virtually no redeeming qualities, and they have not won a game in 2026 in the Premier League. It's March 10th. They have not won a game. They've been the worst team. They've been significantly worse than Wolves, the worst team in the league this year.
Well,
And they
Wolves
are
is hot.
now, Wolves hot. That's true.
Wolves are hot.
Well, we'll talk about Wolves in a second. But I think it just shows, Spurs, a Big Six team, is genuinely really, really in danger of getting relegated. Like it's actually possible, and not only possible, it could be likely.
They absolutely are one of the top teams to get relegated. Frankly, I think they will.
He almost
get
even said he's like,
I was like,
even for Michael, he couldn't quite get himself to say it. No,
I mean they're going to Liverpool this weekend.
What does that mean? What does that mean for the Prem? Like, what happens if one of the biggest teams, the smallest of the big teams, what happens? Like, how could
Leeds are an excellent example of a team that had a period of dominance, an absolutely massive team that was relegated because of ultimately being mismanaged. And it took them, I think it was like 13 years to get out of the championship. There is absolutely no guarantees if you sink into the championship that you're going right back up. It is a really cutthroat league. It is really, really difficult to get out of that, no matter how big you are. So who knows is honestly, the truth of it. And
interestingly enough, though, Leeds is, oh God. Oh yeah.
Now, just really quick, have you seen all the memes of like, they're just like all of the championship teams coming to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium next year, and it's like, wow,
like, oh my God, this is so
it's
nice.
like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, like so funny. Yeah, Sam, go ahead.
Well, that's what I was going to say. So the difference is with the Leeds story is Leeds got relegated. Their stadium is like 30,000 capacity. Tottenham is 65,000. It's like
double
a 65,000 double capacity stadium in the championship. It's so funny.
It is.
I will say
we're funny.
Not that we're not talking Champions League today for obvious reasons, but I was working today, so I started a Liverpool match on like 45-minute delay. So I finished it up, was obviously disappointed, and then flipped on FootMob. And actually, hilariously, the first thing I did after the Liverpool match ends, I didn't like check text and check my email. I just opened FootMob, which is just awesome.
Cried? You
just
cried and then opened up FootMob?
No, not only. I opened up FootMob, saw that Spurs were down 4-0, 20 minutes in, and I literally laughed out loud.
Yeah.
Awesome. I mean, it was the immediate antidote.
I mean, it is a true crumble of epic proportions. Like, that team is just absolutely falling apart.
I mean, it's the fans have given up, is what it feels like. The players have given up, is what it feels like.
All right. We're gonna cut this.
Yeah,
let's move to the next one. If we give Michael an open mic to just keep going on Spurs, he's never gonna stop.
That's fair. Let's move on to my game. Unfortunately, Sam, cover your ears for the next few minutes. Unfortunately, I will be talking about Liverpool Wolves last week, where Liverpool, as Sam has said many times, were back and showing up as he was hoping they would. Played a pretty poor first half against Wolves, but still looked better than Wolves, because Wolves are the worst team in the league, so it's not that much of a that hard to do. And then in the second half, started to turn it on. Wolves literally had 2 counters. Only 2 times did they actually even get into the final third. And they scored both times against Liverpool, and Liverpool lost to Wolves, the worst team in the league. Just as Liverpool was starting to seemingly put it together, it kind of feels like that's the narrative of the season, where the pieces aren't aligning, and it just feels like every game you just don't know what Liverpool you're going to get, and they just can't seem to put it together. It just does not feel like it did last year. Sam, how are you feeling about it at this moment in time? I mean, it must be tough going from a dominant championship season to a season that you thought you might repeat, but it's why the league is so tough, right? I mean, in 30 seconds or less, can you give a quick recap of how you're feeling about it right now?
Yes. Pass.
Okay. That was 1 second. So
you kept it within the time limits. That's
yeah.
It's in 30 seconds.
Thank you.
No, I mean, there's nothing to say. They won the league last year, which is obviously the highest of highs, and this year they're on track to finish as the worst of the real teams, which is unacceptable. So there's not a whole lot else to say other than it's unacceptable. And I think that there's a decent. Hold on, give me my 30 seconds, damn it.
You
There-
passed it back, sir. You passed it back. You don't get it back.
Give me
You
my
don't get
30
it
second
back.
back.
All right, you get
Give 'em
15
back.
you get 15 sad seconds. Go.
Literally every day I waffle back and forth on whether I want Slot fired or whether I want him for the future. I just literally every day I'm waffling. So right now I'm waffling in the negative.
Let the man waffle. Let him waffle. Well, I will say on the counter, Wolves, who look like they might finish at the lowest point total ever, has gotten quite hot in the second half of the season.
Really hot.
And it's again the tale of multiple themes as each of these teams kind of go through their different periods of time. I mean, it is genuinely impressive how they turn it around, and they are not a gimme. They are not a gimme, and just like no team, any given Sunday, any given day can beat you in the Prem. That's just
Wolves is a bit of a not to jump into your territory, Michael, as a boxer, but Wolves is a bit like the guy who's just absolutely defeated in the first 5-6 rounds, but just goes all the way to the whistle, fights all 12 rounds, and is just battling at the end. I mean, they have an insane record in their last 5-6 games. An insane record. They've been drawing and were beating good teams, and then beating Liverpool. See what I did there? And they're just absolutely battling.
Yeah. I mean, it also it speaks to one of the major themes of this whole podcast is that the Premier League is just the most competitive league in the world. And even a team that on paper might set the record for the worst record in Premier League history can still jump up and beat you. They're not a gimme team by any stretch of the imagination. I just think that speaks to how strong the league is.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Fact check, they are now clear of that because of how hot they've been in the last 5-6 games. But
I think well clear of it. 6 points clear, right?
So I get why you might not notice that considering your team is at the top of the table. But yes, going on at the bottom of the table, there's movement. So on to teams that I wish were still at the bottom of the table like they were last year. I want to talk about United and the Newcastle United match, which, long story short, was, oh my God, was this a long time coming? And oh my God, did this go a long way towards making, as a Liverpool fan, me feel a little bit better about what happened the day before, because United's been on this insane run of form under Michael Carrick. They cannot lose. They're getting all of these breaks. They look better, of course, objectively, but they don't look undefeated better. And it kind of okay, is the shoe going to drop? Is the shoe going to drop? Is the shoe going to drop? And finally it did, because they lost to a 10-man Newcastle team on a 90-minute William Asula winner, which was an epic goal.
Epic goal.
It was sweet.
Epic goal.
It was sweet.
Sick goal. So for me, this was a match from a United hater standpoint of okay, finally, it started to equalize out a little bit. And from a Newcastle perspective, boy, is there a team that's just more likable? You just want them to do it than Newcastle. It's just come on, boys, get a little run going. I mean, what are they? I'm not pulling up the table. They're up to 12th.
They are another kind of they're another enigma. They're another enigma of a team where you look at them, and I think our analogies earlier about the animal kingdom and them being the kind of teenage where they show a lot of promise, they kind of trip on themselves. You watch them, they are pretty fun to watch. They're a big team, they're aggressive,
they're real talented.
They're fast, they're good, but you just they just can't quite find their footing, and you just and the way that this Champions League game against Barcelona ended is perfect, where they're up 1-0, they're about to go back to Barcelona for the second leg, and they give up a penalty in the last 10 seconds, literally last play of the game, and they tie. So it's just it's tough, but watching them against United and beat United, that was pure entertainment.
They're just a plucky, fun, richest team in the world,
Yeah. There's I keep wanting to talk about the Champions League, because obviously it happened today, but do you think that they get that penalty and they make the penalty kick and all of Barcelona fan base is that's the result we deserved?
Finally.
It was not.
Justice,
It was
they
not.
got kind of smoked for 90, right? Yeah.
Yeah. They did not look that good. Anyway.
Anyway, to wrap it up, United, that was a comeback to earth. It's setting up for it really is setting up for an incredibly juicy race for Champions League.
Unbelievable.
4 teams within 3 points. United and Villa at 51. Chelsea and Liverpool at 48. 3 of those 4 teams will get in. 1 of them will not. And for all 4 of those, United, Villa, Chelsea, and Liverpool not getting into the Champions League, for all 4 of them in different ways is absolutely unacceptable. So
Yeah,
it's going to
it's
be
true.
really freaking interesting to see what happens.
It is. And one thing I just wanted to point out that I think is unique in this situation is if Chelsea has by far the most red cards of any team this season or this in Prem history, or almost they're close to breaking the record.
Crazy.
United has been on the other end. I can count at least 4 times this year that they've gotten a red card against, and they have had like a full half, but they also have not capitalized. They didn't capitalize this time. And I feel like they've really benefited from the red cards they've been playing against, which is unique. And I'm curious, I haven't done a deep dive into that, but I'm curious just how many points they really have been able to scrape off the top just because of that benefit.
Sounds like a stat to do for post-production.
Yes, I will pull it up. Yeah, put more work on me.
Put it right here.
Let's put it right here on this guy. So what a wonderful look back. Thank you, boys. We're going to move on to actually a short while before, which was actually Matchweek 28, a segment we call
Not so objective viewership.
which this is a very special segment that only happens 6 times a year, where 2 of our clubs, which of course consists of Chelsea, Liverpool, and Arsenal, play each other, and the odd person out gives 5 objective, or I guess not so objective, thoughts on the game. And this week, our wonderful Sam Thomas, the Liverpool fan, gets to give us some thoughts on the game of Arsenal v Chelsea. Sam.
Thank you, Mike. So, as a totally objective viewer,
So
watching this
objective,
match for purely the entertainment value,
of course.
I saw a couple things that I would love to bring to your guys' attention. So, the first one. I know you can't wait. It's going to be so complimentary. Especially as I'm just like so pissed at Liverpool right now. I'm going to just be so nice to you guys.
Feel the venom. I can feel the venom.
No. I'm gonna be the bigger man.
Objective.
Somewhat. So the first thing I would like to say is, and probably the most important, I want validation for what I said when you guys played each other in the EFL Cup, which, if you remember, the first thing I said then was how amazing the red and blue unis look playing with each other. 30 seconds into the match.
They did say that. They said that. They said, oh, proper red and blue uniforms. They did make that comment.
30 seconds in. I listened to that. I was like, oh, fuck yeah.
It looked really good. It felt
all gravy for
gravy.
You know what? Let's end it there. We don't need anything else. It's beautiful. Aesthetic.
Yeah, that's it.
Great segment, Sam.
Gorgeous.
Yeah. So I'll go from that into the most disgusting thing I've ever seen, which was Robert Sanchez and Chelsea playing out of the back for the first 15 minutes of the match. He literally, over the first 15 minutes of the match, either kicked the ball directly to Arsenal, or didn't kick the ball in time, or tripped on the ball over his feet, or just had the ball stationary on his feet and let them just run up to him and try to kick it away from him. It was a goddamn miracle that they didn't give up a goal in the first 15 minutes. And Weinberg, what was your heart doing in those first 15 minutes? Because every time they touched the ball, he kept doing it.
I mean, if you guys don't already know, he's been demoted. I don't know if he's going to be first team again, but he did not start the next game that we thought he should have. He didn't start against Villa. And I think it's because of that reason. And I will give our senior some credit. He has been sitting players when they don't perform. He just like boots them and he's like, sorry, which we didn't really do previously. It was extraordinarily anxiety inducing, but also like I'm kind of used to like Chelsea making terrible mistakes like that. So it was all too familiar is what I would say.
Yeah, fair. That's fair. So that's number 2. Number 3, had to do one for Chelsea, now I have to do one for Arsenal, and the target will not be surprising. But oh my God, Victor Gyökeres is so it hurts. It just hurts me so goddamn much. He had, over the course of a 10-minute period, he had 3 different one-on-ones with 3 different defenders, and each time lost the ball and fell on his face twice out of those 3 times. And it's just, I'm watching this and I'm smiling because in the midst of a really disappointing season for my own team, I can at least watch the potential and more than likely league leaders have arguably the worst striker on a league winning team in the history of the sport. And that gives me at least a little bit of joy. But Michael, your thoughts?
And
you agree, I'm guessing.
No, I don't actually. Victor Gyökeres is getting so much more heat and hate than any of the other new striker signings from the beginning of the season. I think it's because of his age. I think it's because of where Arsenal are at the table. But if you actually look, since 2026 has started, he's actually been really pretty good. Like he's already at 10 goals on the season. He's scored multiple goal games. And he doesn't look the prettiest doing it all the time, but he has been effective. Now, is he the superstar striker that I was hoping that we were signing when we signed him? Probably not. But is he effective? Yeah. Absolutely. So I think it's somewhere in the middle. I think he gets way too much hate, and it's not deserved because he's not as up to the incredible technical standards of all the other players in our team. Totally. But does he add an element that we did not have before of just a big motherfucker who's going to hit the ball into the back of the net really, really hard? Yes. So you know what? Is he perfect? No. Is he doing the job? For the most part, yes. And, ultimately, I can't complain with what he's produced so far.
That's fairish. That's a fairish from both of you. I think there's a middle ground there. That's probably fair.
Agreed. But just watching him fall over the ball a couple times straight was funny.
Sure.
And
he's not.
We all need to laugh. We all need to laugh.
He's not the most graceful guy I've ever seen. You know what I mean? But he gets the job done.
To number 4. So those were the two where I poke a little fun, and then number 4 and number 5 are the flip side. So number 4.
Yeah.
Yes.
You've done 2 so far. So
he did 3. The first one was at the apparel, the jersey.
The first one was red and blue kit validation.
My bad. That was so fun. It was so fun. I didn't feel like a dig. Sorry, my bad.
Right. They're not always digs.
Yeah.
So not always digs, because number 4, Reece James. Reece James just plays the game at a different tempo, and it's really fucking fun to watch. He's just playing the game in slow motion. And when he does it and then executes a pass or executes what I love, especially when he just brings a ball down and then turns and just delivers a beautiful down the field pass all in one fluid motion. He just plays at a different tempo, and it's beautiful. He is a player to watch who is just beautiful to watch.
Yeah. All I will say is he's my favorite player for a reason. It's just when he's playing, the crosses he makes. I actually was thinking about this. I think that our 3 teams had the 3 best set piece corner takers in Rice, Soboslai, and Reece James. I think are pretty much. I think probably couldn't say that anyone is better. Maybe Bruno Fernandes, I think, is excellent as well. But I do think that, Reece James is a pleasure to watch, and him being healthy this year for pretty much the entire year is really amazing. It's awesome.
Yes. I agree. All right. And then number 5, I also, I found, nice things out of Arsenal. So, I had more than a couple nice things to find. I think that there are a couple of ones I didn't say. First of all, their defensive recoveries are just fucking incredible. Like the amount of times they give the ball away and then the other team's on a counterattack, and then you blink and they've got 10 guys behind the ball. And Declan Rice especially goes box to box fashion.
Yeah, Declan Rice is insane.
That's one.
Yeah.
They're on the offensive side, their overlapping runs past the halfway line are just gorgeous and so unpredictable, because I think better than any other team, they send different players on those runs. Sometimes they send their wingbacks, sometimes they send their strikers, sometimes they send their midfield players. You don't know who's going to make the cut behind, but somebody does, and the person's ready to feed them. They're over right at that just past the halfway mark. That's how they get in, and they're really unpredictable there. And usually, I got to say, they get through, and then they don't even get a shot on, or it's a block, deflection, it's a corner or whatever, but they get over the halfway line with possession more consistently so often, and it leads to all of their set pieces, all of their free kicks, all their corners, and I think that's worth calling out. But where I really want to focus was in the 63rd minute.
You're giving them 3 positives?
I'm giving 3 positives.
And you gave me 1? Jesus Christ.
Let him go. Let him go.
This is 6 and 7, dude. This isn't 5
What
points.
I really wanted to focus on was, this is the only time I'll ever do this, so just, enjoy it. What I really want to focus was in the 63rd minute, Urian Timber, when this was the point where it was a 1-1 match, the entire Emirates Stadium was stressed the fuck out, frankly. We forget this, but the entire stadium was gaffing at every pass, groaning at every mistake, getting all this thing. And in the 63rd minute, the camera caught him turning to the crowd and going like this for about 15 seconds. Not 2 minutes later, he scores the winning goal off of a header, off a corner. That's the type of play that defines a season. That's the type of player that defines a season, is having that guy that's going to take it on himself and be like, no. Whole stadium's doing this. Our team themselves is turning the ball over. I'm going to take the matters in my own hands. I will cry at the crowd, and then I will go deliver. For me, I thought that was an incredible moment, and it made me respect him as a player a lot.
For me.
Yeah. I mean, I first and foremost, I appreciate the excellent and kind analysis of Arsenal. I do appreciate that. And yeah, I mean, I think we've done it this year very differently than like City or you have in terms of how we've won it. I'm
How
proud
we
of
won
the
it.
way
How we
we
won
did
it. Let's not.
How we've been winning it so far. How we've been winning it so far.
It worked. I got him to slip.
I'm
That was the
gonna
only
go
reason
ahead
that was
and
nice.
I'm time-stamping this, and boy, you better hope your boys stick it out because that's gonna be a fun one. That is gonna be a fun one. In order to not put the viewer to sleep, I'm gonna keep us moving here onto our next topic. Thank you, Sam.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sam, for your not so objective viewership. We're gonna move on to, of course, Professor Sam's topic of the week.
Grab your beer and grab your wine. Come on, it's Professor Time.
And this is where our segment, where our in-house professor, the Premerican tenured Samuel L. Thomas, uses his academic wit to break down a different football topic each and every episode. And as our resident funny guy, TA, Michael here, will bring us some funnies as well, as he always does. And
Nice.
yeah,
Nice
you're
intro.
welcome.
Nice
Yeah,
intro.
that was good.
That's well done.
And this week
Yeah.
we're going to be talking about the FA Cup, which is in full swing. Tons of fun and juicy stuff there. Sam, please take it away.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about FA Cup because this past weekend was the FA Cup. So there actually wasn't Premier League matches this past weekend because it was the cup ties. Little background on the FA Cup because it is just a really cool thing. The FA Cup originated in 1871. 1871.
Where were
That's
you
like
in
Civil
1871?
War era time.
It was
It is
Reconstruction. It was Reconstruction.
Isn't that literally like less than 10 years after the Civil War? Like
that is correct. 1865. So this is
Yeah.
6 years post Civil War in America, which I don't really know what happened in Britain, but it had to have been a lot of crazy shit going on in 1870s in Britain.
Yeah,
you'd think.
A lot of wood, a lot of wood everywhere.
A lot of wood
Stone.
everywhere.
Some stone.
Stone.
A little stone. A
Yeah.
little stone.
Fire.
Mostly wood.
Mostly wood.
Yeah.
Mostly
I
wood.
would.
So 1871, they come up with this thing. It's the oldest, longest running national football competition in the world.
Wow.
It's such a cool setup because at its simplest form, basically every single professional and semi-professional team throughout the entire country plays in this competition. So there are 10 tiers of teams that are playing in this, starting with the Premier League, then the Championship, then League One, then League Two, then the National League. But it gets so even juicier after that. We'll flash a little pyramid diagram that I found of exactly what these 10 tiers are, because it's not just 10 tiers that are like 10 tiers of 20 teams. When you get down to these tiers 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, these tiers have like 50, 60 teams in them in each tier. So there's just a limitless amount. But the coolest thing is that only the first 4 tiers are professional. Tiers 5 through 10 are semi-professional leagues. Again, semi-professional leagues, meaning, and I looked up the exact definition here from the FA. In the semi-professional leagues, players are paid to play, but hold other part-time or full-time jobs, often training 2 to 3 days per week and receiving match fees rather than a full-time salary.
They're day workers.
So they're day workers.
Yeah.
Literally.
They're getting paid a day rate, a flat rate.
Sure, it's $40
on a flat
$40 a game.
They're
£40 a game, whatever.
Immediately spending that at the pub right after for the post-match.
Exactly.
They're not paying bills with this stuff.
No.
So all of these teams play in this. And what's amazing about this is that it starts near the beginning of the season, like all the smaller tiers like have playoffs against each other to kind of build up to like a 128 person bracket, then a 64 person bracket. But the juicy part is you get these amazing matchups especially as in the turn of the year, where you're getting the Premier League teams playing some of these lower tier professional or even occasionally these semi-professional teams. And I was just thinking, like, how can we find an analogy like this anywhere else for what this is?
The best I've come up with. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like, imagine if, your buddy that's an accountant, you got another friend who's a lawyer, and, one guy who like works in construction, and you have a band, right? And you guys practice, in your garage.
Yeah.
And every now and again, you'll go play like your local pub, and like Mary, Tim, and, Greg are sitting in the back listening to you. And, you do that for fun on Wednesdays. Imagine if your band was able to enter a Battle of the Bands competition and literally have a chance to go up against Coldplay. That's how crazy this is. Because it is, I mean, people who do this is like a part-time, thing because they're passionate about it. Getting to go against the biggest dogs in the park, your Arsenals, your Man Uniteds, your Liverpools. Like, there's nothing else remotely like it.
So I freaking love this, because also what's cool, though, is that a lot of the early matches, the way they do it is they play them at the smaller team stadiums.
Yeah.
So it's not just that you go to like a big concert hall where Coldplay's also playing. It's like Coldplay then comes to your local.
Coldplay's playing in front of Greg. Coldplay's playing in front of, Mary at the pub. That's what's going on over here. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like, you just imagine you walk into your local pub and there's Coldplay just like playing on the little band, and there's like 3 people around. Like, what? Excuse me?
Yeah. I mean, I think I love that analogy. I think also in the sports world, I mean, you could think of a dozen different ways of the IM sports league, the guys that are playing, like Sam, you play in a pickup basketball league. It's like if you guys got lucky, won a game or two, next thing you know, you're playing like, I don't know, the Bobcat, I guess the Hornets, the whatever team you're.
No,
it's
true.
And they're playing in at your gym. Like,
that's a good one. It's like us playing in like Chelsea Piers in this we're playing at the 2 courts that, by the way, are
Brunson
like
walks in.
Yeah.
The 2 courts are next to like the gymnastics arena, right? Where there's like a bunch of like little like grade school people doing gymnastics. And then you're playing the 2 basketball courts. You win a game against another just like, men's league team in their early 30s. And then like you look to your right and the Knicks are walking in. It's oh my God.
The Knicks are walking in. It's like, oh my God, what the heck?
And occasionally,
and they take it kind of seriously. It's like they actually it's like a real, it's like an important thing. Like it's not nothing. It is just, I can't imagine American players, like American superstar players
doing that.
No. And you see some of these, I'll show the Mac, I think is it Macclesfield? The team that Arsenal beat last time that beat Palace, the 6th league. I'll show that what their locker room looks like. I mean,
yeah, it's so good.
You could be in a high school. You could be in a high school locker room. You wouldn't know the difference. And it's like superstar players. The biggest players in the world are in there, like in this little dingy,
And these little tiny teams that are often in these little tiny towns and somewhere in England, and like they will remember in 2026 when we played Arsenal and like we gave them a good game. We even scored a goal. Like that kind of stuff becomes local lore for these little clubs, and like is like in the Hall of Fame of their respective little stadiums and stuff. It's really cool.
Yeah. It's so freaking awesome. It's such a sick competition. We're now down to the final 8. So at this point now, it's like kind of stabilized to mostly Premier League teams, mostly the big boys. But there's a couple still fun ones still in this. But it's interesting. Weinberg, you brought up the Macclesfield example. So earlier this year in January, Macclesfield, as you mentioned, was in the 6th tier, what's called the National League North. Now, that's not the 5th tier, which is called the National League. The 6th tier then consists of National League North and
National League South.
6th tier, semi-professional. They beat Crystal Palace, who was the reigning holders of the title.
They won it last year,
in front of 5,300 fans. And just literally 2 months ago, that upset was the single biggest upset in the history of the FA Cup. You believe that? In the 160 year competition.
Yeah, and it's like 118 places or something. There's some number of difference that was astronomical.
Single biggest upset ever. Yeah, incredible. So totally freaking cool. Michael, to your point, it's exactly there. I won't roll through the list, but there's a ton of these examples of these little small towns. Hereford United beating Newcastle 2-1 in 1972. Wimbledon beat Liverpool one time 1-0 in a final. Wimbledon was actually in the Premier League at the time, but near the bottom. Then you had 92 Wrexham. Back in 92, Wrexham they were in the 4th division. They beat Arsenal 2-1. So you've got all these examples, and it's just lore and legends. And for the top clubs, there's a ton of motivation to try to avoid the embarrassment. It's an embarrassment-driven motivation. I mean, to your point of like, boy, would you get the big stars in U.S. sports to do this? You can't even get the big stars in the NBA to participate in a dunk contest.
Yeah,
You think they're
the
going to
All-Star
like
game.
another place to do
Or
this?
an
Are you
all-star
kidding me?
game. They don't do
Right.
all-star games.
Yeah.
You think they're going to be playing Middlesfield United? Like, come on.
So incredibly fun competition down to the final 8, which is fun. It's the only negative on this whole structure, I would say, is like, dear God, can we get rid of the EFL Cup, which is just the same
Right.
concept, but just the top 4 leagues, which automatically makes it way less cool.
Makes it
and
less
just
cool.
adds fixtures. It's so not fun at all. So, but the FA Cup is genuinely sweet, and is just steeped in so much history and tradition. It's awesome.
I think of the FA Cup as the warm, gooey center of English football. I mean, it is really one of the differentiators of why it is just such an incredible like structure, in England. The football league structure they have there is just incredible. And it just like epitomizes why we love this game so much.
And you know what's fun too is,
It does.
VAR is something that we just take as a normal, but it's not in the lower leagues. And so there was a stat when Wrexham played Chelsea last weekend, which again, you never know. These teams come up and they punch, and Chelsea looked terrible. And apparently, in Phil Parkinson, who's their coach, who's been there for years, who's been around forever, he has never coached in a game with VAR ever in his entire career.
Wow.
And so they were called back.
And it kind of fucked them, by the way.
It fucked them at the end. They got called back, which was correctly overturned. But it was, it was. But it was either way. The point is that they were like, oh, we're made it, and then they like lost to like a technicality based on something that they've never had before because they've never had the luxury or the non-luxury of it. But it just shows you that's only one step down. I mean, you think about these teams that are 6, 7 levels below that are playing these top level teams. It's like, can you imagine if you're like, hey, you get to play against your biggest, like your superstar hero in the Premier League that you look up to, and one day you just get to play against them because you like stumbled into like, the 4th round of the FA Cup. I mean, what an amazing opportunity.
And what they say is that like one of the great equalizers in the FA Cup is that a lot of these lower league teams have really pretty bad pitches compared to the pitches that they have in the Premier League, where it's like they're described as like carpets. They're like basically perfect. And these players who are used to playing on these pristine pitches now have to go to these like dirt patches basically where they're playing, and it kind of is like the ultimate leveler, which allows like a lot of these great upsets to happen. So
Oh, I love it. I love it. Thank you, Sam, for bringing that to us today. We're getting towards the end of that competition. Excited to see how it shakes out. We're going to move into our final segment, but before we get there, we've got one more commercial break. We'll hear from our sponsor, and then we'll get into stoppage time.
Had one too many pints. Too drunk to get off the floor. From the makers of Pint Alert and Premerica, we bring you Burger Alert. For those times where you're just too drunk from Pint Alert to get yourself together, one of our helpful Burger Alert specialists will come and bring you a nice, juicy burger, possibly fries, to help soak up all the mistakes. I mean pints. Disclaimer, no matter how many pints you drink or burgers you eat, there will be nothing to be able to soak up the shame of becoming a Spurs fan. Please drink, eat, and listen to Premerica responsibly.
Everybody get up, it's stoppage time, y'all. It's time to learn some stuff now. Get into the stoppage time.
All right, and welcome back to our final segment of the episode, Stoppage Time, where each of us has 15 seconds to share what we're looking forward to in this upcoming Prem weekend. And if you go over 15 seconds, I will mute you. And of course, if I go over, I will mute myself in the edit, as we learned the hard way last time, unfortunately. But let's get into it. I'd actually like to volunteer to go first.
Please.
Because I and start. I think this weekend is my return back to the pub after my surgery, and it's looking like we're going to be able to watch some really fun games in Chelsea, Newcastle, and also Arsenal, Everton. And I'm really looking forward to it and getting to spend some time with the boys. So good times ahead.
Love it.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll take my 15 seconds to say I am really excited. I'm going to London this weekend and going to my first Arsenal game.
Oh.
So I will be at Arsenal Everton. I'm very much looking forward to it. And then on Sunday, I'm going to Crystal Palace Leeds. So looking forward to very much to both of those.
The boys returning to where they belong this weekend, returning to the beautiful. Sam, I hope you have something that's also moving.
No, I was kind of going the other side. I'm looking forward to the Man United Villa match because somebody's going to drop points, and those are big points to be dropped in the chase for top 5.
What do you think? Because Sam and I are on the exact same wave. We're in the same boat on this game, like perfectly on the same boat in this game. Do we want to draw? Do we want Villa to drop points because we really think that they're falling apart? Do we want United to drop points because they're really not that good? What do you think how are we rooting here? Because we're aligned on this game.
Yeah, as much as it pains me, we're rooting for a United win. United's at home. You want
really
the
want
United
Villa
win.
just
Take all 3 points. The most likely right now is that Villa drops off the face of the earth.
Yeah. That is the dream. And dreams sometimes come true. They do. Yeah. Just like being here with you guys.
But meanwhile, just have so much fun in London, Michael, cheering on your self-declared title-winning team as they go to play Everton.
Thanks. That's so sweet of you to say without any other deeper context to it.
Weinberg and I, presuming that I can get out of in just enough time my wife's grandma's 90th birthday celebration, I will be joining Weinberg for the back half of that match, and I can tell you I will try my best to wish joy upon you.
Like, all right, Grandma, blow out the candles already. Let's go. You know.
Oh, you're at. That's the game. It's that Arsenal Everton game on Saturday. You're going to be at. Yes. And Everton's a pretty good team this year. They have played very well. That's not a gimme. Not a gimme.
No,
not at all.
Not a.
No gimmies. Not in this league.
This
is really just going to test it. This will really test just like myself as a human. It's like if there was ever a match where I should just really root for Arsenal to win for my pal Michael, it would be his first match there.
But here we are talking shit behind his back, and we know it's going to happen. It will happen. Shit will be talked. All right, boys. All right, boys. Well, it was a wonderful first step back. Glad we got together. Appreciate your patience with me. And until next time, we'll go watch our teams and hope for the best. I still don't have an outro line. I haven't worked on that. I'll get one.